In this video, I will be talking about my meadow and bringing you along on the journey of how I came from a very bare garden full of invasives to this native wonder world for the pollinators. So today we are doing the edge of the pollinator native plant meadow, and my dad is taking out an invasive plant. These are rocks just from like around our yard, and I'm just taking them. We made like a kind of a trough around the edge, and we're having a little bit of a mud problem right now, but we're taking them around the edge and just placing them in the edge. And this is the grass, some of the grass that I removed from the edging trough that I made. And yeah, so that's what we're doing today. So we just went out and got this tree. It's a red bud, and it is the tree specialist at the garden center said that it was a native tree. So we're excited to put it in this garden. And this is the spot where we pulled out the giant invasive bush. Could you stop? We're gonna plant it probably tomorrow, and yeah. So there's our replacement for the invasive bush. So the other day we got these beautiful annual daisies, and these daisies, they're all pollinator friendly. And then this one is a marigold, which I also know the bees love, and I love those. So we've got 4 of the purple daisies and the 2 white ones. Oh, this one knocked over. 2 white ones and the marigolds. So we're gonna be planting those soon. Yesterday we got this lovely, this big like barrel thing. It's like a rubber material. And my lovely friend Claire, who's taking the video, and her little sister Jenna, and my brothers all helped me dig the hole today, and they put the dirt around the edge, and so that's going to be like a home for like native, basically frogs. It's basically a frog pond. Here are my friend Claire and my brother Whitney putting these little rocks around the edge of the pond so that you can't see the plastic rim. Oh, my little brother just helped me set up the pump, and the pond is filling up and it's looking really good. We got the pump to work, but I don't love it. So we tried to plant this tree the other day, and the soil was too clay-based, but then we talked to a tree expert and learned that red buds are actually totally fine with clay soil, as long as they have some airy soil when they're young. So we dug about a 4-foot, a hole with a 4-foot diameter, and put the tree in, and my dad filled it with the like compost and like stuff that isn't super dense, and then we covered it with the clay soil, which isn't really going to matter because underground we've got the nice airy stuff. And so now we're just waiting for this red bud to, I guess, grow bigger. So right now I am just working on taking out this grass. This is just like basically the grass that's growing in our yard that has, you can see right here, this is like where I've created the edge. It's just like coming right through the edge. Nobody's edged garden in years. Like I don't think anybody since years before we moved here has cared much about this garden. And actually there is a plant growing here called white sagebush, which is actually native to North America. And we have a ton of it over in this garden. All of that white stuff you see is the white sagebush. So I'm just taking out the grass. I'm leaving the sagebush if I can, but there's so much of it. I'm not able to leave all of it. But yeah, so I'm just removing that with my handy dandy clippers. And we have our pond here, which is empty right now. But we had some raccoon visitors last night. Can you spot our little friend? It's great to see already that we have raccoons and frogs coming to this native plant garden. They've really already taken a liking to it. We were not liking the way the pond looked with the filter, so we got some plants instead and actually ended up returning the filter because it was not working. Part of my original plan for this garden was to visit this native plant nursery called Earth Tones, and it was awesome. So they have this beautiful doggy here lying in the shade, and I also love to see that they have things like milkweed, and they're just allowing them to grow here on the sidelines of all of the for sale beds. They also have this cute little cat. I swear, I've never seen a prettier cat than this one. Also, I really wanted to work on the garden today and like finish it, but we're having some terrible, you can't really tell, the sky does look kind of weird though, trying to find the sun here. But it's like super smoky and it smells terrible from the wildfires in Canada, so I don't really feel safe spending too much time outside today, which is really sad. Hello and welcome to Egg Meadow. I wanted to create a place in my yard that was a really safe and healthy place for native animals, the wildlife here to kind of thrive, and a meadow is a great place where I can help the ecosystem in my community thrive. So I've come to a point where I am proud of what I've done, and obviously with a garden, there's no finish line. It's a living thing that you have to continuously take care of, but I am ready to share it. So starting off with this is our rutabaga. It's otherwise known as black-eyed Susan. It's not flowering yet, obviously, but it is native and it is great for bees and butterflies and pollinators. Next we have this plant here. This is a pincushion plant for sure, but I haven't identified the exact species, but I do know that it is good for pollinators like a lot of pincushion plants are. The black-eyed Susan and the pincushion plant were both here when we moved in, and they are both native, but now I want to show you some of the things that we put in that we specifically bought for this garden that are native. So starting off with this Jacob's ladder, which is a beautiful meadow plant. I really like the way it looks. It's native, and the pollinators, especially the bees and the butterflies, love it. Next we have these daisies, which we bought as well, that are great for the bees. Then this is a coreopsis. We started like a lot of them from seed, and so we decided to put some in since they're native. The bees and butterflies love them. Then we have an echinacea here. We have 6 of those throughout the garden. They're gonna have those big pink flowers those are loved by the birds, eat the seeds, and bees and butterflies and hummingbirds for pollinators. Then this is a rose campion, which is enjoyed by hummingbirds and butterflies. Then this is a obedient plant, which we got 2 of, but we were able to separate it into 6 different plants because there were so many growing in each pot, which is also loved by the bees and butterflies. Then this is an eastern blue star. This one's already flowered this year. It's also loved by bees. Then this is a hyssop, which the hummingbirds like, and so do bees and butterflies. Then here is another Jacob's ladder, and another echinacea, and another obedient plant. There's several of these growing in here. This is a white wood aster that's going to have white flowers, and then this is a goldenrod and a separate species of goldenrod. And these all are all native, but before I started learning about natives, I would have just thought of them as weeds and pull them up, but we plan to leave them as long as the goldenrod doesn't kill my mother. Those are all natives that I'm grateful spring up here to help with my meadow. So here we have a rose, foxglove, and balloon flower, which were all here when we moved here, and they're great examples of things that our pollinators really like but are not native, but I'm leaving them anyway since they do no harm. And then this is white sagebush, which was already here when we moved in, and it's native, so it's a great thing for small mammals to feed on the seeds, and birds like it, and deer can eat it. So that's something great that is already growing here that I'm so happy about. It may seem like a lot of the plants that I'm talking about were already here in the egg meadow, but there's a reason for that, and it is because plants need time to establish themselves in places, and the things that we put in are still quite small, and the things that have been here for a couple of years are already large and have established themselves well. So I'd like to compare this black-eyed Susan here, which has been here for a couple of years. It's a nice big bushy plant, to something over here which we put in. This is a very, very similar plant, the echinacea, which we just put in, and it still needs time to establish itself. A lot of the things in this meadow right now are not currently flowering, but some of them are, and it's important that you have things flowering in a garden all throughout the season so that there is constantly a source of nutrients for the wildlife. Here is our pond, which creates a great place for frogs to live, but these plants are mostly from North America, but not necessarily Connecticut. So some of them are from like maybe down in Mexico, but they are still compatible with the wildlife here. And the pond also creates a great place for insects to lay their eggs. Sometimes mosquitoes will lay their eggs here, which aren't great for humans, but they are good for bats to eat. And then dragonflies like to lay their eggs in the water. So hopefully we'll have more pleasant things living there this summer. And then here are two irises. There are several native species of iris in Connecticut and all over North America, and this is one of them. It just finished flowering. And then this one too, which it's not necessarily native, but it's still compatible, like I said. But this one is the native one that we got at the native nursery. And then this is a spiderwort, which is also native, that we also got at the native plant nursery, which likes to grow like near water, but not necessarily in it. And the bees like that. And then, of course, our tree, we can't forget about the redbud. Redbuds are enjoyed by so many different animals, like cardinals and grosbeaks, quail sometimes. So all the different birds like to eat the seeds. Turkeys can, and squirrels, and deer also like to eat the leaves, but hopefully they won't because I think they're pretty. And this tree is the one that in the spring, it has like the purplish pink flowers, and then it starts out with like these dark red heart-shaped leaves. They're super important too because they like immediately make an impact on the environment, whereas some of the smaller perennials take a long time to get established. But the tree is so large that it just gets into the environment and immediately starts helping. A native plant garden and a meadow are both great resources for wildlife, and I've had a lot of fun with this project. I've gotten interested in other things that can't go in meadows, like I planted a trillium, which is a shade plant, and a native dogwood tree, which obviously can't go here because we have the redbud, and two trees in the same garden don't work. But it's really important nowadays, especially with all our environmental crises, to work on contributing to the environment And because all like plants and animals and insects and humans are all interconnected, it's important that we take care of each other, and humans take care of the natural world, to help our community as human beings. And I hope to continue with native plants and helping the environment summer after summer, and in other places as well, not just in my own yard, but maybe in gardens in public and stuff. But I also just want to give a shout out to Douglas Tallamy's book, Nature's Best Hope, because that's what inspired the whole project. And I've had so much fun with it, and I think it's really important that helping the to help the environment to help our community.